What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norman Radd here, bringing you another review today. And for today's video, we're going to be reviewing a 1990 film called Demon Wind. And before we get into it, I'm going to let you know we're going to get into some spoilers today because this fucking movie is bonkers. It's out there, it's wild, and I'm not sure I could recommend this film, so I kind of want to get into spoilers because I want to talk about it because it just... Imagine like the Dollar Tree version of Evil Dead. That's kind of like what this kind of feels like to me, or like Night of the Demons, like, but a worse, very worse version. So we're gonna get into it, talk about the details and stuff, what positives there are, negatives, the rating. Then I'm gonna send you all home. Let's get into this. Roll it. Demon Wind is a 1990 film about a man named Corey, and he takes his girlfriend and a bunch of friends to go searching out his old grandparents' place, so this old property that he owns now or belonged to his family, and he wants to find out the mystery of what happened to his grandparents and his family because apparently they all went missing and stuff like that. So he wants to kind of dive deep into this mystery, and it goes into some wild realms. So before we get into it, let's talk about positives right away. The main positive that I could say with this movie that is definitely going to give it some couple notches is the graphics, the kills, the practical effects, and the makeup design is there. It's top notch. It might be one-dimensional as like the monsters and stuff like that kind of look the same and all that, you know, the demons and shit. They do look very similar, but the kills and all the stuff, I appreciate the practical effects in it. Another good positive is that I guess it's just wild. It is wild. Like that, it could be a positive, I guess. Like that's one kind of mixed positive is that it's freaking out there. It's wild. Like this movie it's not boring. Like it's not boring. Like I could tell you that right now. It's definitely not a boring movie because it goes way, way, way and like just has like these elements to it and it takes some routes, but now let's get into the mix and the negatives because that's about all I got for the positives. So, main thing right away is this freaking movie has no tone or no atmosphere, and the music and score. Like there's nothing there to make this unique. So when you talk about Night of the Demons or you talk about Evil Dead, there's a certain atmosphere with those films. Or Night of the Demons has a freaking amazing score, and when you have those kind of things, in my book, if you have that nailed down, you can get away with having some shitty acting, mediocre story, crappy actors. Like you can get away with a lot of things if you have a clear-cut atmosphere and a really good score that'll take you a very long way. This film has none of that. So next, let's talk about the acting, which is god-awful because we have moments in this film where our actors are reacting to deaths, and it's deaths of their friends, and it's just like the tone is totally off to where one, they just are kind of staring at like, and then these two other characters die later. These two dudes who are pretty cool. One of them is a magician and this other dude has a shotgun, and they're kind of like buddy like, you know, like Turner Hooch type dudes or some shit, like just together, Starsky and Hutch, and they go out there to fight the demons and then they end up dying. And like when the girl sees them, her reaction is like screaming off the top of her lungs. The camera pan, woo, zoom in hardcore. So it's like, this film does not know clearly what it wants to be. And like I said, it's just, if you're gonna be a copycat version or a like kind of sleazy mediocre version of another movie that we've already seen, like I said, you know what I mean, you have to do something else unique. Like something in it like has to do or make, you know, it stand out for it to be talked about. The negative with this film is, yes, it's not boring, but it does take a little while to take off, and there aren't clear-cut rules in this freaking movie. Like, there's no rules, and our characters just do things just to do things without any prior knowledge or evidence of anything, like, to help them with their plan or what they're gonna do. They just decide they're gonna go out and do something, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with this film, you know. So I know like a lot of films like this is, I believe, Vinegar Syndrome has this title where you can pick it up and all that kind of stuff. And some of these, a lot of Vinegar Syndrome and like Arrow Video stuff is on Tubi for free if you want to check it out. So that's usually where I check out some films if I don't want to blind buy them at first. And I heard some things about this film, so I was like, before I blind buy it or anything something like that, I will check it out. And yeah, it's just not for me. And it's part of it might be like my particular taste, which I love films like this. I really do. But I hold Night of the Demons and the Evil Dead franchise in such high regard. So when you're going to be like a copycat movie of those, like I said, you really got to do something different to stand out. And like I said, it's just a B mediocre copycat that is awful acting, awful story. You know, the special effects, the kills, all that stuff's there. Does take a little bit to take off, but just the tone, no atmosphere. There's just so many missed things in this film, and I was just watching it, and then as that third act progresses, it gets even weirder. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they finally, you know, this has to deal with this property, and it's like his grandma was a witch protecting the property with spells from the demons, and then the demons break through the spells. Like, there's no rules. Like, there's no way, like, how do they do that? What do the symbols mean? Like, nothing. One of the characters later just starts drawing a circle on the ground and then does these things, and the guy stands in there and he becomes like, I guess, a half alien human, half demon human. Like, I don't know what the heck happens. Like, this film goes places. So if you want a film that is totally gonna, like I said, I wouldn't recommend this film because it's gonna get a pretty low rating. I'm gonna get to my rating pretty soon. But if you want a film that goes places, that has no clear-cut, like, rules, and you're just going to be on for the ride and trust it, and I definitely probably have a few drinks, because I watched this film, like, I didn't have a few drinks or nothing. Like, I just finished this film, and it's like, I started at like 6 o'clock in the freaking morning. So maybe if you had a few drinks in you, this might be a really good, fun time. But yeah, this film, Demon Wind, definitely didn't, you know... One positive I could say, another positive is it does, because it sits in 1990 where it came out. It has this weird feel of, you can see it's shot in the 80s and it has a little bit of the 80s feel for it, but you kind of see the 90s in it too. So it's like on the cusp of that weird thing. Like, it has a cool look to it. It does, like with the pants and stuff, but the acting, the actors, all that stuff, everything just, it's so weird. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But if you want, and you want to try it, it's on Tubi for free, Demon Wind, if you want to check it out. But in my book, as a rating, Demon Wind's going to get a 4 out of 10. Like I said, it's just, the 4 is, I hold practical effects in high regard, and kills are very important in horror movies and stuff like that. So that's really why it gets the 4. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for any of that stuff, this would be like a 2 or a 1 out of 10 type film, probably. But definitely, let me know in the comment section if you've seen Demon Wind. I would love to hear from you. Are you a fan of this? I would love to hear if there's hardcore fans of this film out there, what you guys like of it, what was your first experience, and all that kind of stuff. So that would be awesome. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing on the channel. I got some other videos coming. Got some stuff from Arrow Video that should be arriving pretty soon, I hope. Fingers crossed. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.